Yo, I'm just Lorenzo, and I've always believed you should keep your friends close, but more importantly, you should keep your enemies even closer. And I think it's time we got to know your enemy in Watch Dogs 2. Let's get stuck in. The enemy in Watch Dogs 2 can be split into two factions, legal and illegal, which range from law enforcement agencies to organised street gangs. Surprisingly enough though, when they are not fighting to take down the hacking group TEZCAS, they are all fighting each other for dominance of the streets of San Francisco. But don't let that put you off. It's time we face both sides of the law head on as we meet and defeat the legal and illegal factions of San Francisco. The San Francisco Police Department patrol and serve San Francisco. A smaller but similar force serves and patrols Oakland, the Oakland Police Department, or OPD. Most San Francisco and Oakland police personnel wear blue uniforms. When the situation requires it, officers may wear external vests or wield heavier weapons and become more armoured. Most officers, especially in squad cars, are armed with handguns, nightsticks and handheld tasers. Sometimes officers in passenger seats may be armed with a shotgun as well. When the need arises, the SWAT team can be called, and they can be distinguished with their black uniforms, heavy weapons and heavy armour. Elite SWAT units wear tougher armour and are usually armed with goblins. On the other hand, a SWAT enforcer boasts a much tougher armour and are usually armed with shotguns.
Be advised, a patrol SUV has been dispatched after the suspect. I got him going this way. Head him off on the other side. Suspect has left the vehicle.
That's a solid hit. Squad, I'm looking at an illegal use of firearms.
Bob, you've got shots fired.
The FBI is the United States of America's main federal law enforcement agency and also the country's domestic intelligence and security agency. They have their own division and office in San Francisco and are working with Blue. Their end goal is targeting not only DedSec but all hacker groups, is to maintain control over as many 0 days as possible without any competition. Of course, the FBI's goals are also to enforce the federal laws of the United States of America and ensure peace and security of the country. UMENI Security Corps began its journey by providing the US government with cryptographic technology products before expanding their services into collecting intelligence both domestically and internally. Eventually, UMENI would evolve into a private security company and will serve any corporation that needs their aid. Because it is a legal faction, they will never engage in a gunfight with the police. Instead, they will assist them to catch Marcus or any other illegal faction member.
Watch him! Control, we have a possible target in your area. Requesting additional firepower to take down a hacker. Fuck! Where's my backup? Oh! Disengaging!
The 580s hail from Ghost Town, a violence-ridden community in Oakland. The name Ghost Town came about because a drug dealer lamented about the district's lack of other drug dealers. The gang known as the 580s control the local drug trade and are allied with the East Oakland gang called the Big Time for joint crime sprees. They also participate in sideshows and the practice of ghost riding. The 580s drug operation focuses on heroin, but fencing electronics and smuggling vehicles are other sources of income. In terms of intimidation or problem solving, the gangs resort to murder. The TEZCAS were formed by members of various Latino street gangs in Southern California, who banded together in prison to protect themselves. They have since gone on from a prison gang to an allied street gang, and are feared for being highly violent. The TEZCAS are among the most violent faction and often engage in murder for hire, with other gangs like the Aryans and the South American cartels. The main source of income to the gang is cocaine trafficking. This operation has international ties as they smuggle goods to Vancouver. The TEZCAS also grow and distribute weed. Their greenhouse located in some projects which they use as stronghold hideouts. Other criminal activities include extortion, contract killing, dog fights, and associated gambling and jewelry contraband. The BRATVA, or the Brotherhood, arrived in San Francisco as scouts for the Brighton Beach Mafia in Brooklyn, New York. San Francisco is one of the centers of money laundering operations via Russia and the United States, and they run brothels, traffic drugs and people, and commit other violent crimes as other mafias do. The BRATVA engage in various criminal activities, mostly related to trafficking and cybercrime. They deal in drugs, arms, and human trafficking. The Anti-Shoe Boys was formed after the collapse of the previous triad, taking members from the various Chinatown gangs. This gang is unique. A mix of organized crime and street gangs with Chinese and Vietnamese members alike. They do everything from stealing cars to selling drugs, to committing sophisticated white-collar crimes. For human trafficking, the Anti-Shoe Boys act as brothel enforcers for Chinese triads that ship women to them. Currently, they seem to be led and presumably founded by a powerful, intimidating woman only known as Anti-Shoe. The Anti-Shoe Boys mainly profit from human trafficking and illegal stock transactions, sometimes using the first to smuggle experts to do the second. They also counterfeit money and deal in drugs, namely marijuana.
Find the banhai that did this.
The Sons of Ragnarok began with World War II ex-soldiers who began riding motorcycles together. They joined forces with an independent group in Oakland and have since become one of the largest outlaw gangs. They are a major distributor of heroin and smuggled weapons. The Sons of Ragnarok are predominantly white, and their close ties with the Aryan Nation and Aryan biker gangs in California have seen a spike in white-only chapters and members. They are now considered to be a terrorist organization and sometimes work with Prime 8. The Sons of Ragnarok are major players in the methamphetamine trade market. They also profit millions of dollars yearly with a credit card skimming operation they have on the go. Prime 8 is led by Lenny and are a rival hacker group to DedSec, whom DedSec is trying to take down. They are amoral mercenaries who sell data and exploits anyone who can pay them. Primate is a loose collection of hackers brought together under Lenny. Their original mandate was to undermine and damage Stanford, but that quickly evolved to attacking Silicon Valley for the way they treated their programmers. Lenny took a page from the Suicide Club, the anarchistic society that pranked San Francisco, but with a more dangerous mindset and bullying attitude. Note that this group has only a limited number of members actively engaging in physical violence. Security is hired out to other factions. Thanks for sticking around and getting to know your enemy straight out of Watch Dogs 2. Don't forget to hit me up and subscribe to my channel for more enemy meet and defeat action. And remember, here it's game time all the time.